Would you like to see the 3 fastest Android smartwatches in the world? You're looking at them. Do you recognize them by the band? How about the front? These are the fastest tested Android watches in the world. This is the number 1 D6 watch. This is the FINOW Q2. And this is the brand new FINOW X1 Engineering Prototype Plus, X1 Plus watch. What makes them the fastest in the world? Well, we've benchmarked them. How do you do that? Easy. You use an app. The app is called AnTuTu, and you can download it for free from the Google Play Store. Check out the speed of your phone as well as your watch. It's an app that does benchmarking by testing a whole bunch of stuff within the system it's being tested on, and it's kind of an industry standard. You see it used all the time. It also interfaces with a 3D engine that runs, not an engine, but an app that runs a 3D benchmarking test. You want to download this one as well, the AnTuTu 3D Bench, and it will do all of these things to test out your device. In fact, these are the only 3 watches that this app will run on. Here's what I got when I tested my Samsung Galaxy S4, which is a rather older phone, but nonetheless pretty good. 32,627. Well, that's better than any watch ever made so far. This was a good flagship phone at the time, but nowadays they're getting in the 100,000 category in terms of gaming response on these devices. So relatively slow by phone standards. But let's see what we got. How did these things fare against each other? Let's see. We go here. We go here. And we go here. Okay, our AnTuTu benchmark on the brand new, connecting to the network. It shuts the network off, at least the way it's set up right now when it first turns on. The brand new X1 Plus is coming in at 22,710. Here on the X1 or the FINOW Q2, both of these are the FINOW watches, we're getting 23,159. And the number 1 watch, the D6, is right here, coming in at 23,220. All of these are close to each other in the scheme of things. They're really high numbers, and they're very good benchmark tests as far as watches go. So what does it look like for the others? How does this compare with the previous and current watches on the market that are Android standalone watches? Well, I happen to have been preparing a video for you, which I'll roll over to right now. Hey, welcome back to Smartwatch Tics. Check it out. This is the AnTuTu app, which is a benchmarking app you can download from the Google Play Store, running on all these different watches. These that you're looking at, these 4, are Android 4.4 watches. This is the number 1 D5, pure empty, basically. It's in its original firmware state, and it has no apps installed except for the AnTuTu benchmark, and this is the number that we get. This is its twin, in a sense, the FINOW X1 original, and it's fully loaded with lots of apps, some running in the background like that little dot up there and other things, and that's its number. Okay? You move on, and this is also a fully loaded watch. This is the X3 from FINOW, and that's its number. And this, the larger format, also fully loaded, is the FINOW X5, and that's its number. So these are the way the AnTuTu numbers come out from the Android 4.4 watches. Now we know there's been a recent update, bump, and new watches coming out running Android 5 and a much faster quad-core processor. This is a dual-core processor here. So we've run the benchmark tests on those watches, and they're right here. So let's check them out. The iQi i2 is blooming out the camera. There you go, 15,715. This is the Z-Blaze Blitz coming in at 15,573. The KW88 from Kingwear. And finally, the ZGPAX S99. So all of them are hitting at about 15.5, 15.7, 15.3, really close together as Android 5.1 watches. And they're like, what do you say, another third higher in terms of overall score than the Android 4.4 watches. Okay, you kind of expect that. These are running a similar version of Android 5.1 across the board. And these are the results we're getting. Not huge difference, but big difference from the Android 4.4. So you can see by this that the 3 watches featured here, all running Android 5.1, are, well, more than twice the numbers that we're getting from the original Android 4.4. And this being basically the same watch as the X1, but the X1 Plus, twice as fast and a bump up in RAM to 1 gigabyte and 8 gigabytes ROM. All of these have also the same 1.8 and the high numbers. The other Android 5.1 watches, the larger diameter round ones that are coming in around 1,500, they're somewhere between the 4.4s and these. And again, they don't run the graphics test. And by graphics test, what I'm talking about is this. When it's running, a little hard to show them all on the screen. There we go. It goes through doing these different tests, and it's got this graphic test that it runs, which is a garden scene. And this is part of its ability to test the graphic capabilities of these watches. Again, these are the only 3 watches I have in the inventory of any kind that will actually run this test correctly. Interesting to see it play out on the round watch versus the square watches, huh? Now, a reminder that we are at the beginning of the launch of a whole new era of watches running on Android 5.1. These 2 square ones were the first ones on the market by number 1 and FINOW. And FINOW is now releasing the X1 Plus watch, and probably the X3 Plus and the X5 will follow. Number 1 is already talking on their website of a D5 Plus, which is similar to this one in round. So keep an eye on the market. There should be a lot more coming. They will all run, I imagine, in this category of AnTuTu speed tests and be relatively snappy on your wrist. All right, there's the AnTuTu overview in August 2016 of all the Android watches on the market right now. Thanks for watching.